Have you ever tried a Gideon's Fleece test whenever you needed to make a big decision? A Gideon's Fleece test refers to seeking a sign from God to help you make a decision. For instance, if you were facing a life-altering change such as a new job or a move or a marriage, did you ask God for some sign to confirm that you were making the right decision? The concept is based on the two tests Gideon devised to determine if God had really called him to save Israel. The first test, he left some wool outside overnight and asked God to leave the ground dry but let the fleece absorb the moisture of the dew. And God did. Judges 6 verses 36 through 38. But Gideon still wasn't sure, so he reversed it for a second test. The next morning the fleece was completely dry, but the ground was covered in dew. Judges 6 verses 39 and 40. Now please don't get mad at me, but if you've done that and believe God answered, I have one question. How do you know? There are at least three very serious problems with modern-day attempts to replicate the Gideon's Fleece test. The first is that all of us lack the most important ingredient for such a test: direct communication from God. Do we dare claim a direct revelation from God? Remember, God had sent an angel to reveal himself to Gideon and had worked a miracle and had spoken to him. When Gideon proposed the test, he said he wanted to know if God was going to do as he had spoken. Judges 6 verses 36 through 37. The second problem is that we are misled by the Augustinian, Calvinist, pagan concept of God. They teach a God who has sovereignly willed every detail of our lives, down to which computer or device we're using right now to watch this video. Except God gave us free will. Despite God's direct call, even Gideon had a choice of whether or not to obey God. Otherwise, why the fleece tests? Consider the self-contradiction of believing that the sovereign God has a perfect plan for our lives, but leaves it up to us to find some way to determine if our choices line up with his perfect plan. Not only is that not a biblical doctrine, but it doesn't even make sense. What happens if we mess up and don't follow his perfect plan? Well, it's simple. Either he didn't make a plan for us like that, or he's not perfect. Or worse, what if God's perfect plan for you is a lonely, sin-filled life bound for hell? If it is, there isn't a thing you can do to change it. How cruel is that? Well, I'm confident God isn't cruel and is perfect, so let's go with free will. Third, absent direct revelation from God, every fleece test we concoct is pure subjective choice on our part. Dare I say it? Free will. That means it isn't proof of anything except our creativity and desire for external validation. It gives us what we want. And in a perverse way, it allows us to blame God for our bad decisions. Mess up, and all we have to say is, it was God's will. Putting those together leads us to the real problem with modern-day Gideon's Fleece tests. They are a rejection of God. If we believe in God and want to obey him, there's a simple way to know his will. Look to the Bible instead of our made-up subjective Gideon's Fleece tests. Where are you looking for God's will? It was recorded for us. All we have to do is read it and obey him. And if I can help you do that, reach out to me here on An American Missionary. And keep coming back to Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until next time, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.